Hello, Namaskar everyone. Welcome to Dhwani, which means sound in Hindi. We bring to you resonating sounds created by the actions of women innovators, leaders, experts, and entrepreneurs who are making a difference in their and others' lives. We share their stories to inspire and empower other women. Dhwani is an initiative of Innoberry, which is offering a platform for the women to voice their thoughts, struggles, challenges, achievements, highs and lows, and the journey that they have undertaken. I am Pooja Bhatia, a tech transfer, patent licensing, and intellectual property professional, and now your host for this show. Let's inspire and get inspired.
Hi, hello. Good morning, everybody. We are back with our knowledge series on digital content, hashtag protection. And I have with me lovely Arushi talking about the hashtag protection again today. Today, we are going to discuss how hashtags can be actually protected under the Indian Trademark law and what are the pointers that you need to know before you set out protecting them. Hi, Arushi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Thanks for joining me today again. And I look forward to our discussion on hashtag protection. Today,
Yes.
specifically, because as a newbie entrepreneur, I am also getting into that space where you use hashtags, and there are a lot of hashtags that I have been using. So I am also very much interested in knowing what is the main criteria for getting your hashtags protected, especially under the Indian Trademark Act. And, if you could highlight a bit more, explaining about each criteria in detail.
So, see, the Indian Trademarks Act specifically lays down three factors which makes a brand name or a trademark registrable, right? So, one is that it should be capable of being represented graphically. Second is that it should be distinctive and, not generic in nature. So, it has to be exclusive as well as distinctive. So, these are the basic three, parameters that revolve around registration of a trademark. So if we talk about hashtags, since there is no specific guideline that has come up, because hashtag is a very new concept. Earlier, so when I was reading about this knowledge session, then I read a few statistics also that earlier there were only a few applications in India, and since the digitization has picked up more after 2016, 2018, the number has reached into thousands. So even though we have yet to see and gather if there will be a specific guideline for hashtags, right now the parameters is what the definition of trademarks is under the Trademarks Act. If there is a specific hashtag that a company wants to register, they will have to comply with these three parameters. So if most of the hashtags are going to be capable of being represented graphically, so the remaining two parameters that remain is to be distinctive and exclusive. So they cannot be something that's generic or descriptive in nature.
So that means that till the time there's an evolved guideline which is available, so the applicable act which is there would be applied for hashtag protection also, and the same rules would apply. So we still need to take care to ensure it is distinctive, it is not creating any confusion, and is definitely doesn't have any other non-ethical or ethical aspects connected to it.
Exactly. So these parameters are going to still subsist and try and devise a logo or trademarks. But then for a hashtag, that wouldn't be a possible feature.
Yeah, we won't be designing any logo for the hashtags. That is true. The only logo would be the hashtag and the tag that we use. So
Exactly.
So it's definitely going to be a challenge because it's just going to be a word mark rather than a graphical logo. But what if somebody uses some design or something as a hashtag? Do you think in future there could be a possibility of doing so?
There might just be, but then what is the purpose? If we go back and wonder what the purpose, what is the actual purpose of a hashtag. So if we talk about purpose of hashtag, it is to create a particular tag so that the search result become easier, right? So if I use a particular hashtag or you use a particular hashtag, right? So like we have hashtag Dhwani and we have hashtag magic viewers. and we have hashtag protect to promote for each of our firms and our entities. So in this scenario, anybody who knows of the idea or is going to relate to this particular idea will be able to search all the posts that are under this
Connected.
particular hashtag.
Yeah.
So if there is a particular logo that is being filed for registration of a hashtag, it won't serve the purpose of the hashtag even if it gets registered as a trade. So for obtaining mere registration, if somebody wants to apply for a hashtag, they can as a logo, but then it won't serve the purpose of a hashtag in their operation. That's the whole idea behind.
Moreover, they won't be in a position to renew it also, right? Because if you're not using it after 10 years, anyways, you can't renew it. So
see, again, that's something, Pooja, that's going to happen in the US. In India, when we go for renewal of a trademark, we don't ask for proof of use unless and until somebody goes and files rectification for that mark.
Okay.
That, it's not being used.
Mhm.
And for that also, there is a period of, I guess, 6 years, 6 or 7 years in India. Suppose I'm not being using my mark, and if you come and file a rectification against it, and then if I'm not able to show the use, it's only then that it's going to be removed from the register. Otherwise, I can keep renewing it also. So there's this basic, loophole in our act for this.
Oh, I never knew. I always thought that you need to show the proof. So that's a bit of a news
No,
for
in
me.
US you have to. I know because I've interacted with you. I've interacted with certain US attorneys for our clients. So that's how I know intent to use, and proof of use is a major point in the US, but in India it's not.
Okay. What is the process? It would be the same, right? Like for the trademarks that you file,
Yes,
same
yes,
application numbers and same form numbers and everything, right? No different form
Yes,
to be filed
yes.
for
The
it.
forms and all are going to be same. Attachment of documents is also going to be same because there's, like we just discussed, there's no going to be specific manual that has come up for it. Also, if we go on, the examination process has also not included any other factors other than, the same provisions which we call as 911. Those two provisions are there. One is with respect to descriptive, and one is, like you said, that it should not be creating confusion in the market if there's already something that subsists. So this is going to be the basic examination process. When the hearing comes up, again, the purpose of hashtags is to create meta tags, right? So once you create those, so a lot of times the hashtags are generic in nature also.
Yeah.
Right. Suppose it's hashtag trademark, or if it's a hashtag discussion that we are having right now.
Yeah.
Could be hashtag intellectual property. So these are the hashtags that we cannot get registered. But what if we do? So will they get registered? No, they will not, because they're generic in nature.
But if somebody is able to show that, even though this is a generic hashtag, but they have used it specifically in context of their branding strategies, like with trademarks, if there's any generic trademark, you could still show by a virtue of the usage that it is unique. So would that same thing apply for hashtags? Then, there'll be a lot of hashtags that otherwise not protectable could get protected.
This is an interesting question. See, now again, like, whenever we work as lawyers, we always sometimes, we get lost in the law or in the provisions so much that, whenever there is a confusion with respect to interpreting it, we always go back to the statement of objects and reason. That
Okay.
why is it that this act came into picture?
Mhm.
So if we talk about a comparison of hashtag and generic basic brand name, why did they come into? So if we talk about brand name, so whenever a brand is trying to prove their use, they will prove their use with respect to two things. First, that they are not creating confusion, and second, that they are being used in a particular market exclusively, and they're not going to, there is no cross counter thing. So there is a particular terminology that we use in trademarks is counter of sale. Okay, so there is a mask during COVID times that we wore, which was under class 25, came as a garment, and there is a one particular surgical mask that will come under class 10. So what if the brands are same? But then because the counter of sale is not going to be same, one is going to be a pharmacy and one's going to be a garment shop, it can still be granted. The decision will be with the examiner, but of course there's no likelihood of confusion. Right. Similarly, but if you go back to hashtags, will we ever be able to show that there is a difference of counter of sale? No, because it's a digital platform.
Yeah.
Right. Not only just digital platforms, no, Pooja, it's going to be Twitter, it's going to be Instagram, Facebook, more of social media platforms. So there is no difference in counter of sale,
Yeah.
which means the place where the person, the user or the consumer is accessing the information.
Information.
So if there is no difference in counter of sale, there is no use of showing the usage, because platform is going to be same. Even if I'm taking screenshots of the hashtag trademarks or hashtag intellectual property over my social media, there might just somebody else also be who's going to use it. So this is how it's very important. If a hashtag, then the norms become stricter for hashtags. So you will have to show exclusivity and distinctiveness in your hashtag to get it registered. Otherwise, we can use whichever hashtag.
So you spoke about the intended use also, Arushi. So if we talk about the intended use of hashtag, like, if I have a book coming up in future on something else, can I protect that hashtag now?
Yes, you can. Like going back to the first answer, there is no specific manual in India. Also, as per the USPTO's manual on hashtags, also that they have specifically come up with, you're still allowed to get, apply and get registered those trademarks, which are, on proposed to be used basis or intended to be used basis. So in India, also, as long as you're complying with those three factors that we talked about, you can still go ahead with the registration. Like there are some hashtags that I've personally worked on and they have gotten registered even if they were on proposed to be used basis. Yes, of course. The heavier it's going to be heavier if it's already being used.
Yeah. So if you have some proof to show, then
Yes.
you have the higher chances of getting it registered.
Yes, there's more inclination.
And do you think that sometime sooner, as we have trademark policies, companies will have to come up with hashtag policies in order to have the correct usage? So I'll give you an example. When I started using Magic Weavers, so the M was small, but then over the period of time when people started posting it, the M became capital.
Capital.
Yeah. So now, definitely you need a policy to ensure that the hashtag looks similar across the social media, so that whenever you are protecting, you have the correct proof to show that this is what was connected with it. So do you think a hashtag policy could be something that a company or a startup needs to implement for
Yes,
different employees and
yes,
departments?
because you brought up this question and it's very interesting, because yes, when we are searching for a particular mark and if there's a capital and a small, difference between a caps and a small, of course the search results will differ and the tagging will obviously might reduce on the smaller alphabets and might increase on the caps one. So of course it's going to create an issue. But then as long as if we go back to trademark registration and we talk about that, it won't affect the trademark registration, because as a word mark, the caps and small wouldn't make a lot of difference. But for usage, yes, there should be a definite policy for it, because it can change the entire, traffic also on a particular hashtag. So yes, this is a very good idea that you brought up, that you have to have a policy for it.
Thanks. So, with ending this conversation of ours today, and we'll be coming back again with more discussion with case studies. Arushi has worked out few case studies, and I'm waiting to hear about it too. So, we'll be coming back with another session on the case studies. But for this particular sessions, there are two key takeaways for you. So, one is that even if you have an intended use for the hashtags, go ahead and protect, but ensure that it is distinct and unique. The other thing is that if you don't have a hashtag policy, start thinking about it, because if you are a solopreneur, it's fine, but sometimes you can also make a mistake. So you need a guide to recheck. So ensure that you have a guide for the hashtag usage as well, along with the trademark usage, so that the usage is uniform wherever you use it. Isn't that correct, Arushi? Would you like to add any other points?
Yes, and I'm also going to come up with a hashtag policy. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, then I think we should start implementing it.
Yes, and we should be the ones, be like the torch bearers of this policy.
Definitely. So if you have any questions about the policy also, feel free to connect with Arushi and ask her the questions, that what the policy should actually contain, what are the aspects of the guide that you should create and how to do it. And if you are looking to protect the hashtags, Arushi is the one who can help you. If you want the connect, feel free to reach out to me. I'll connect you to Arushi with a note to help you out. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you, Arushi, on this, and we'll reconnect soon.
Yes, sure. Thank you.